Happening now, a woman is arrested following a raid in Jamestown. Power is restored to the town of Chautauqua.
And I'm Dakota Hunter in the First Defense Weather Center. A tad bit warmer today with a few lake effect snow flurries, but don't get used to those warmer temperatures. They fall right down the cliff for later in the week into next week. We'll break it all down coming up.
I'm Ryan Hedrick at the Phone Zone Sports Desk. The UB Bulls blew a humongous lead in Kent last night. We'll tell you how that turned out. And an NBA player goes off for 60 points. All that and more straight ahead at the Phone Zone Sports Desk.
And a look inside County Lockup. That's news now for Wednesday, January 31st, 2018.
Live and on demand from the Chautauqua Audio Works Studios in downtown Jamestown. This is your source for breaking news. WNY News Now.
Thanks for joining us and happy Wednesday. I'm Justin Gould. Our top story: an equipment failure is blamed for a power outage in the towns of Chautauqua and Ellery on Tuesday night. National Grid says power has now been restored to that area. A spokesperson tells us that a mobile substation was brought in last night to help restore power to critical facilities. Temporary shelters were also set up for people who were not able to safely stay in their home, although County Emergency Services Director John Griffiths tells us that only one person needed those shelters that were set up by the Red Cross.
The Red Cross is a great partner in times like these for all emergency services, and even though it was only one person, it was one person who needed shelter. So we work with the Red Cross and constantly are looking how we can do things better. Norma from our office keeps track of where we're at. We have shelters that are predetermined. It's an ongoing process, and then when you need it, it makes it fall into place much easier.
And again, Griffith said that the Red Cross has those predetermined locations where shelters would be set up in the time of need. He also said that in the event of a natural disaster, there's an abundance of manpower from volunteer departments that would be available. Jamestown police say a standoff involving a man threatening to harm himself with a knife ended with police tasing the man. The incident took place at an apartment building on 100 Lakeview Avenue. Police spent 2 hours trying to talk the man out of hurting himself and others. He was taken to WCA Hospital for evaluation. Authorities say charges may be pending. And police have recovered a stolen car taken from a local dealership. The vehicle was spotted in a parking lot directly across the street from the county jail. Randolph Perkins III was reportedly sitting inside of the vehicle when police rolled up. Perkins was taken into custody and charged with felony possession of stolen property. The vehicle has since been returned to the dealership. And now we check in with Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter with a look at some of the temps from across our region.
Hey, good Wednesday, everybody. It is Hump Day, and I wanted to start off with something a little bit different today, the current temperatures. And I'm showing you this for a couple different reasons. One, the temperatures. It's a little bit chilly. 18 in Jamestown, 23 Dunkirk, 25 Erie, 23 Buffalo, 24 in Niagara Falls, 14 in Olean. But I wanted to show this for the temperature change because, believe it or not, even though it is cooler, it is a little bit warmer. 7 degrees warmer than it was at this hour yesterday in Jamestown. 11 degrees warmer in Dunkirk. 8 degrees warmer in Olean. And take a look at Erie. Take a look at Olean. 1 degree cooler in Olean. 4 degrees cooler in Wellsville. And 2 degrees cooler in Rochester at this hour. So even though it is cool, it is a little warmer than it was yesterday in some spots. So the forecast for today, mostly cloudy skies. Lake snow continues in the afternoon hours. Otherwise, 33 valleys, 37 at the lakeshore areas. We'll break down that full Quick Solution 7-day forecast in just a couple of minutes.
All right, Dakota, thank you. A woman has been charged with peddling methamphetamine and Suboxone out of her apartment on East 8th Street in Jamestown. Investigators say Amanda Spitali was arrested on Monday after members of the Metro Drug Task Force and the state's CNET team raided her residence. Inside, police found drugs and drug paraphernalia. A city court clerk tells us that Spitali was arraigned and remanded to county jail without bail. She's due back in court on Friday. Next, hear local reaction to President Trump's State of the Union address last night. And later, we're going behind bars. Our Ryan Hedrick takes us inside of Chautauqua County Jail. You don't want to miss it. Coming up.
WNY News Now is sponsored by Chautauqua Audio Works, 3335 South Roberts Road in Fredonia. More than a music store. Call 679-4333. Call now, 679-4333.
The Main Landing Restaurant. Excellent service, awesome food, and a beautiful view.
Everything's made fresh here. We love to be outside, and it's nice inside if it's raining, so we have a choice.
Locals and non-locals agree that the Main Landing is quickly becoming a destination.
It's just so casual, and just the food is amazing.
I love the hamburgers.
But I really like the tuna I had.
The Main Landing Restaurant. Excellent service, awesome food, and a beautiful view.
Catch your First Defense forecast daily on WNY News Now. You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
So let's come together, set politics aside, and finally get the job done.
President Trump highlighting the accomplishments of his first year in office Tuesday night in his State of the Union address, particularly highlighting economic success while also looking forward. Trump also called on Congress to work with him on plans for a massive infrastructure overhaul. Local reaction to Trump's speech is now pouring in. The head of Chautauqua County's Democratic Party, Norm Green, said that Trump's speech was good, but for him, it lacked substance.
There are some things we can agree on. Hey, we want to improve our highways. We certainly want to do something about prescription drugs. There was as they used to say in the Wendy's ad, where's the meat? But what percentage of the population were even reading or listening about, George Borrello and what he had to say about the state of the county or the mayor of the city of Jamestown. And, there certainly were more important items that are actually going to affect people that were talked about.
Now, Green talking about the lack of government participation here in Chautauqua County. Dave Wolfong, the Republican Party chair, did not tune into last night's speech. He said he's more interested in what is done rather than what is said. We asked the county legislator what he thought about the lack of government participation here.
It's easy for someone to turn on the 7 o'clock news and watch that stuff. But why weren't they last Monday night? Why weren't they down hearing what the mayor of our city had to say? I mean, I think that's kind of crazy. I think people judge politics by what they see on TV. And if you take a look at county government, the government that I'm involved with is running quite well. We're well into the black, doing great things there. Both cities have their issues. There's no question about it. I think Dunkirk's a little better off than the city of Jamestown.
Now, Trump's speech just 1 week after the government shutdown, with another potential shutdown looming next week. The president put forth his plan on immigration and urged Congress to act on it. Trump's approval rating right now is around 40%.
Now, your First Defense forecast with Dakota Hunter.
Well, good Wednesday, everybody. Let's start off the weather segment with the Sky Vision Camera Network. That's the camera on top of the Mill Creek, well, actually on the old water tower at the Mill Creek Mall in Erie. We have it looking directly into the city of Erie right now, and you can see some of that cloud cover out there as well. Let's go on to the main graphics, and we got a couple viewer photos in. This is from Kyle Heelis. Oh, man, take a look at this. Isn't that gorgeous? That is just a beautiful shot. And, of course, we call you our weather eyes because you help us see what's going on out there. So you can always send in your photos on Facebook or tweet them to me on Twitter. My handle is HuntersWX. Now on to Doppler vision. We don't have a whole lot of snow out there right now. There actually is, the heaviest snow is up here, a few light snow showers down in the southern tier. And actually, let's zoom the radar in a little bit. Let's zoom into Chautauqua County here. And you can see not a whole lot in the northern areas, pretty quiet across the northern areas. As we go south, same story here. There is some snow showers going eastward into Cattaraugus County. Nothing of a big deal. And then as we zoom up here, I'll show you the heaviest amounts of the snow and it's right up here in Canada, and it looks like this is taking a trajectory more to the northeast, so it won't bother Western New York at all today, I don't think. And here's just a higher resolution look in Viper. You can see some of the light snow. Pretty much stretching from the 60 going down into Jamestown and then going eastward. So again, this is pretty much light snow, not a big deal for us, and then I'll probably continue throughout the afternoon. 18 degrees is the current temperature at the airport with a 2-degree wind chill factor. At least we don't have a negative number in front of it, at least a negative sign in front of it. 77% humidity with that south wind of 18. The gust is actually around 20, it's actually around 28 miles an hour, so a little breezy, a little bit gusty out there as well. Here we go with Future Scan. You can see the model is picking up on that snow, but take a look at what happens. It clears out, and it looks like we go partly to mostly cloudy skies for the afternoon hours, and that'll remain the story throughout the overnight. That'll allow temperatures to really dip, and then this is early tomorrow morning. Another band of snow starts to work in from the south, and then it looks like it'll start to imprint throughout the area. So pretty much for today, 27 degrees. This is model output. I think this might be a bit conservative. Probably a temperature a little lower than that at 1 o'clock. Chance for a few snow flurries. At 5 o'clock, 34 degrees, chance for a few light snow flurries out there. And then as we go into 9 o'clock, the snow will increase as we go through the nighttime hours as well. Now, the Super Bowl, we are a week away. So let's take a look at that Super Bowl forecast. And you can see right there as it comes up, the temperatures are coming down as well. Take a look at this. This could be the coldest Super Bowl in history. 7 degrees at 2 o'clock and 4 at 7 o'clock. And by the time the Super Bowl wraps up, 3 degrees below zero. Yikes, this could be the coldest Super Bowl in history. Good thing it's played with a stadium that has a dome. Again, it's between the Patriots and the Eagles. I got myself in trouble a couple days ago with who I'm rooting for, so I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. And as we take a look at zone weather, tomorrow the temperatures go up a little bit. Mid-30s are showing up here, and there could be a chance for a few 40s in spots. Snow will be the story throughout the morning, then it changes to rain and snow in the afternoon. Same story into Cattaraugus County, mid-30s showing up here. Warmer but still a bit breezy, less than an inch of overall snow accumulation there. The next 7 days of your life coming up on the screen, brought to you by Quick Solutions. And there you see for Friday, 14 degrees as an average high. Ouch! That's going to not feel good. But as we expand out the rest of that forecast, the temperatures do rebound a little bit for the weekend. And take a look at early next week. Oof, single-digit lows. Ouch.
First Defense Weather is sponsored by Quick Solutions of Jamestown. Count on Quick Solutions for printing, copying, mass mailings, and so much more. Part of your team. Learn more at QuickSolutionsUSA.com. That's QuickSolutionsUSA.com. WNY News Now is sponsored by Chautauqua Audio Works, 3335 South Roberts Road in Fredonia. More than a music store. Call 679-4333. Call now, 679-4333.
The Main Landing Restaurant. Excellent service, awesome food, and a beautiful view.
Everything's made fresh here. We love to be outside, and it's nice inside if it's raining, so we have a choice.
Locals and non-locals agree that the Main Landing is quickly becoming a destination.
It's just so casual, and just the food is amazing.
I love the hamburgers.
But I really like the tuna I had.
The Main Landing Restaurant. Excellent service, awesome food, and a beautiful view.
Catch your First Defense forecast daily on WNY News Now. You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
From the Phone Zone Sports Desk, I'm Ryan Hedrick. Here's a look at what's trending in Western New York this afternoon. The St. Bonaventure Bonnies women's basketball team gets back to work against George Mason tonight. The Bonnies looking to end a 3-game losing skid. These teams have played 4 times, splitting games down the middle. Each team has won 2 at home. You could listen to the game on 105.9 FM in Jamestown. Chris Russell, the play-by-play voice for St. Bonaventure, has your call starting at 7. UB Bulls men's team. Their 9-game winning streak is over. They lost an 18-point lead in Kent last night. Final score 82-79. The Bulls still roaring along in the MAC Conference at 8-1. They'll host Western Michigan on Friday at Alumni Arena. High school basketball on a roll. Jamestown falls to Clarence 69-65. Maple Grove lost a heartbreaker to Fredonia 69-58. Randolph pummeled Portville 76-48. Olean slammed Southwestern 59-39. Ellicottville slips past Franklinville 59-58. A couple of NFL notes. Superstar quarterback Alex Smith has been traded from Kansas City to Washington. In return, the Chiefs get a draft pick and a former cornerback standout from Virginia Tech named Kendall Fuller. NBA, Cavs forward Kevin Love fractures his left hand in a loss to the Pistons. The Rockets get 60 points from James Harden in a 114-107 win over Orlando. And in hockey, the Devils end the Sabres' 3-game winning streak. Final score 3-1. From the Phone Zone Sports Desk, I'm Ryan Hedrick. It all unfolds here.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
Like great food, great news needs experts. Become a community reporter when you see breaking news or have a news tip we should know about. Drop us a line on Facebook today. Speaking of great food, Jeremy's Bellevue offers pasta, classic burgers, seafood, and of course, wings. Visit Jeremy's Bellevue on Facebook. You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Welcome back to News Now. You may have seen the reality TV show Jail, but here in Chautauqua County, things are getting pretty crowded in county lockup. Our team recently took a walking tour with Sheriff Joseph Gerasi. Ryan Hedrick has more from behind bars.
They come in off of Elm Street in Mayville. They come up to the drive-through and identify themselves. They're confirmed with dispatch or the master control room. They drive into the sally port, the doors close, now there's nowhere to go. So if they escape from the back of the car, they can't get anywhere.
Does that happen? How's that happen?
Many years ago, when we first added a garage to the jail, this is before my time, with the sheriff's office, we had a murderer that was brought here, and he had been a trustee previous, but in between the time he left here and then got rearrested, we'd added this garage. Not this one.
What?
They're inmates that are trusted more, that do work around the jail, like in the kitchen, they clean, right. And so when he got here, he had freed himself from the handcuffs and shackles, but he was in the garage when he got loose, so there's nowhere for him to go.
Right.
So anyway, they start here, and then there's assumption made that they've been searched, but they get researched once they hit the booking room, changed over into jail garb, showered, and then brought upstairs to the cell. They're assigned a certain cell based on their classification. So they're here before we open any doors. There's nowhere for them to go.
Right.
So it's, again,
so that door closes and that opens.
Right. That door can't open while that door's open.
Gotcha.
So they got an inmate in here now. So
okay.
Now one of the things you take for granted is they're wearing clothing when they come in here. They have their personal effects. They have to be changed over. We have to store that clothing. So we have a huge room, all alphabetized. So, and it's well ventilated because some of these clothes have not been washed in a long time. So, you take for granted we got to deal with all their personal property when they come in, and then it's returned to them when they leave, or transferred to them if they get transferred to state prison or another jail. A jail should operate at about 80 to 85% of its total capacity. That's really where you should be, so we can classify appropriately, move certain types of inmates away from others, and you have keepaways. You've got people that can't be in the same area together because they're assaultive. They might be co-defendants. They might be defendant versus witness. So you should have that flexibility of about 15% open capacity, and we haven't. We've been over capacity significantly.
Okay.
Now, by law, we have to provide the inmates with the ability to go have rec outside. So that's the rec yard. We don't have any niceties here like basketball and weights. It's not the Y, it's jail. So I got rid of all that many years ago.
Right. Is it true that you're doing more with less these days?
Well, not necessarily. The cost of operation goes up as salaries go up, and those are negotiated through union contract talks, and the cost of doing business, just like our home costs. The cost of food, the cost for medication, gasoline, all that stuff you have to deal with, and it impacts us in operating a facility like this, just like it does a business or a home. So
When you first became sheriff, what was the state of the process here? You talked a little bit about the changes and the evolution, but you've done a lot since, the last 5 years, the EMT process for the sheriff's office, other things like the 911 center, which I know you hold high for yourself and others. I mean, it's evolving still, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And that's what makes the job so challenging and enjoyable in a sense, because there are always new challenges. And there's been a lot, we've done. The growth of the jail because of the population, that's happened during my administration. We've had to make adjustments, and those aren't popular. People don't like to spend money on jails, but it was a necessity. 911 is a huge responsibility for us, and we've upgraded the technology to the state of the art, and we're trying to deliver the best public safety we can to the residents of the county. That's ever changing. It's going to change again because technology changes. Something I take pride in. We have one of the 5 accreditations that the sheriff's office holds is for the jail, and that was a big lift to get us accredited. Means that our process, our policies and practices meet or exceed the highest acceptable standards in the state of New York. And this is just a dedication plaque from when we opened in '07. It's chow time. The evening meal is a little lighter. But they get breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then they can buy additional food stuff through the jail commissary. That is done by a third party, so they do an order on a kiosk, and then that food is delivered to them. But we don't provide things that are not essential nutritional. So if they want coffee, they got to buy their own coffee. We're not going to spend money on coffee for inmates. If they want snack food, they got to buy that. So they get their money through people that drop off money for them or put money in their account. Or if they had money on booking, they can't physically have money in the jail. It goes in an account, and then they electronically can apply that through a kiosk.
How much progress have you made with your website? Because not only does it let the public know who's locked up in case there's victims out there, but you can also be interactive if you have a family member here with visitation, commissary, as you said.
You can do video visiting.
And that wasn't always the case with your website,
not at
right?
all. No, we added video visitation because we thought it would reduce the number of on-site visitors, which reduces contraband potential, but it would give people that have far away relatives the ability to still have visitation, but there's a cost to that. They have to pay for it.
Sure.
A building can only be used so long. And this is 80 years that we've been using this building. So these cells are mechanically controlled, and it is the same mechanisms that we're using in Alcatraz. Have something work this long with, it's not without mechanical failure, but in order for us to open the cells, they're actually released here, and it opens the cell door, and then there's a sally port, so they can't come out into the hallway until they enter the sally port, and the door behind them is locked. Ingenious, but it's beyond its useful life. And it's not as staff effective as the other parts of the jail. The 48-man housing unit has 1 correction officer in it. You've got a 26-bed unit here with 1 correction officer, and it's just common sense and math. Here on this floor, we have 2 correction officers, 1 for this section and 1 for the 26-bed housing. The street cops will deal with somebody who's incorrigible or maybe has issues that are mental health related or violence, and they deal with them for 10, 20 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, and then we get them for a year or 2 or more. And the men and women that work in corrections have to put up with some of the most difficult people in our society every day, and they don't get the accolades that they should for doing that job. This is the SHU, so people that are in the SHU have violated rules and procedures of the jail or assaulted other inmates or assaulted staff, and they're kept confined 23 hours a day in their cell. They get an hour a day out for recreation, exercise, and showers, personal hygiene.
Just a little reminder of almost like the jail is society and the shoe is jail, in a sense.
It's where the bad guys go. Now, new rule changes will mandate us to give them 4 hours out of the 24.
Is that statewide?
Statewide,
Okay.
yeah.
When this jail was built, one of the things they did that was really smart, in the 30s, they built this, and they built a tunnel under the road. So that tunnel goes all the way under Chautauqua Street and comes out in the county court.
So this tunnel is used for taking inmates to back and forth to court?
Right, we can take them directly from their cell areas right through the tunnel and into the courtroom, and we don't have the exposure of them for escape purposes. And if there's somebody who is high risk, or the public is, they're in danger because of threats from others, they don't get exposed to others. But there are some people that have made this trip through the tunnel that have never seen daylight again, if you will. I mean, they've never been gone to county court, been sentenced to life in prison, back through the tunnel, and then, they're being transferred to a state prison.
So we've heard about the word recidivism, and we know what a challenge it is. What does it do to one person or many people that keep coming back? Because you have guys, and we won't name names, but you have guys that come back again and again and again and again. What does it do to those people? Do they become institutionalized?
Oh, no question about it. Institutionalization is, and actually the term that's used is prisonization. Some, that's their way of life. We have an inmate, no, he's not here now, but we have an individual who's been booked into this jail over 100 times in his life. But obviously he's fallen through the cracks and never been picked up.
Right.
And substance abuse is an absolute issue with this individual. But there's a lot of recidivism, and there's people that come through these doors that will never come back. And for a lot of reasons. And they're all so different. That's what makes it challenging.
Do you see hope stories, Joe?
No, all the time. Yeah, all the time. I had a young man who actually came to my attention from a former employer of his. He had actually been arrested during the time he was employed. That employer said, look, he's salvageable. And we worked with him and found out that he had a very serious charge that served prison time for, and then had gotten released, gotten hired, and then got rearrested. But here's a case where he eventually got into a diversion program through the state and has been successful, and he's employed and has been arrest-free for probably, now it's been 6 or 7 years. So you get success stories. That's what we want. We're not looking to, ideally we wouldn't have crime and we wouldn't have a jail. But that's a pipe dream, unfortunately.
Sheriff Ryan, thank you so much. Enlightening tour there, for sure.
Definitely. I sincerely hope that is the closest thing to the inside of a jail I'll ever see in my life.
I'm in the same boat with you.
Yeah.
And I was concerned because I'm like, I wonder if they're going to keep Ryan.
Throw Ryan behind bars, close it all
Like
up.
we could just try one of those Sally ports out.
Yeah.
Be like, go in there, Ryan. Let's go see what it looks like. Bye.
Oh, we're too mean.
I know. Pretty good tour though, and certainly the jail has a lot of problems. Definitely going forward. It looks like a lot of people over capacity, as the sheriff said there. So certainly something very much that's going to be a topic of both Gerasi and then also the county legislature who funds that, who appropriates funding for him. So see that going forward. Final look at the weather.
Yeah, let's take a look at that Quick Solution 7-day forecast one final time so you can see temperatures rise up for the end of the week, but don't get used to it because they fall right down a cliff. Single-digit lows possible for the end of the week going into early next week, and there is a little discrepancy going into Monday morning on the two prime global computer models we use, the GFS and the European Ensembles. The GFS has us below 0 early Monday morning. The GFS has us slightly above 0. So I put 3 as an average low. Of course, we will refine that throughout the remainder of the week and in the weekend right here.
All right, Dakota, looking good. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
That's going to do it for us today. Be sure to join us right back here tomorrow because we have a treat for you. of Storm Hartman's last day here.
I'm going to cry.
We're going to be looking back at Storm's career and a lot of other surprises around the corner. So that's it for today. Be sure to join us right back here tomorrow. Have a good day.
See you tomorrow.